Welcome back to the Best PT Podcast. This is episode 4.5, talking about cardiopulmonary labs. Starting with arterial blood gases, or ABGs. We have pH level. So normal pH is 7.35 to 7.45. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Normal levels are between 35 and 45 millimeters of mercury. Partial pressure of oxygen. Normal is 90 to 100 millimeters of mercury. So the lower the partial pressure of oxygen, the more severe the hypoxemia is. SA or SpO2 should be between 95 and 98%. Bicarbonate or HCO3- should be between 22 and 26 milliequivalents or MEq per liter. And when receiving report on these or reading them in a note, they're usually reported in this order: pH, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, partial pressure of oxygen, and then bicarbonate. Blood gas interpretations. I have a nice picture I found on Pinterest of all places with a quick little cheat sheet to interpret blood gases. So start with the pH. If it's normal, there's no abnormality, or it's actually a mixed acid-base disorder. If the pH is low, you know it's some form of acidemia. So if you have low pH and you have a high partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it's respiratory acidosis. If the pH is low and the bicarbonate is also low, it is a metabolic acidosis. If the pH is high, it's an alkalemia. If the pH is high and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, it is respiratory alkalosis. And finally, if the pH is high and the bicarbonate is high, it is metabolic alkalosis. Some cardiac biomarkers: creatine phosphokinase, or CPK. This appears in the blood 4 hours after a heart attack, peaks at 12 to 24 hours after a heart attack, and declines or disappears from the blood after 48 to 72 hours post-heart attack. Troponin, another cardiac biomarker, remains elevated in the blood after an MI for 5 to 7 days. So CPK is a good way to detect an acute MI, and troponin is a good way to detect a chronic or recent MI. Cholesterol testing, or a lipid panel, will tell you about high-density lipoprotein, HDL, or good cholesterol, LDL, low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, the total cholesterol count, and the triglyceride count. A complete blood count, or CBC panel, measures red blood cells, white blood cells, the differentiation count of white blood cells, platelets, hemoglobin, and hematocrit. Remember that hematocrit, or HCT, is the percentage of red blood cells within the total blood volume. Remember that normal is 40%. This is a good way to test for anemia, blood loss, or active bleeding, as well as vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And then finally, partial thromboplastin time, PTT, or prothrombin time, PT, measures how quickly the blood clots. A normal reading is 26.3 to 39.4 seconds. That does it for episode 4.5, talking about cardiopulmonary labs. Episode 4.6, we'll talk about cardiopulmonary diagnostic tests. As always, the outline will be in the show notes. Thanks for joining me.